Let's just show you what happened yesterday in the House. The first thing was a couple of point of orders. So before we get to it, they were discussing a bill. They were going through and hearing debate on a bill, House Bill 378. We'll get into House Bill 378 in a little bit. That's not really important at the moment. Slightly, it's maybe slightly important. But during this debate, one of the members, Representative Kent Marmon out of District 11, he's a good pledge signer and good standing. He rose because he had an objection, and that kind of started the ball rolling here. Let's watch.
Gentleman from 11.
Mr. Chairman, Speaker, whatever you are.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. We have a mass migration of individuals leaving the chambers during this testimony, or during this the debating of this bill, and they need to be here to vote. If we're going to have transparency, they need to be here to vote. They're leaving during the debate.
I object, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I object. They have every right to leave the floor.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order. Let's hear the point of order.
Okay, my point of order, sir, is that we don't control where they come and go on the floor. So I think that is an incorrect assumption, and that we shouldn't stop debate because people have left the floor. It's happened to us multiple times. That's my point of order.
Gentleman from 11, would you like to state your point of order, or are you making a motion?
I'm making a motion that we go to recess until the people return to vote on this issue. I move.
We have a motion to go to recess. I don't see a second. We will continue with the debate. Is there further debate on the motion? Good gentleman from 25.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to have a point of order.
Point of order.
And I'd like to make a motion for a call of the House.
House will be at ease.
What is a call of the House?
That's where they lock the doors. You stay here until they come.
This is the most
Well, so yeah, interesting. So for those of you who don't know quite exactly what happened there, apparently, obviously, there were some people that were leaving, and that made Kent Marmon stand up and say we wanted everybody here to vote on this bill. But the call to the House, that is actually a rule. I believe it's Rule 18. It might be in the House, and a call to order. You might have seen this make headlines in other states throughout the years. A call of the House basically says that the sergeant at arms shall lock the gallery or lock the floor, lock the doors, and no legislator is allowed to leave. And those who are not in the building must therefore be sought out and found and taken in custody, to the floor, so that they can partake in the business that was called for. So, but before there was a call of the House, before it was seconded, the acting speaker at the moment, there, Representative Jason Monks, who's the majority leader, immediately went at ease before there was a second. The procedure then, if there was a second, would be then to take a vote of the House if they wanted to do a call of the House, and you only need 1/3 of the House to force that decision. So, but they went at ease, and they were at ease for maybe 10, 20 minutes or so. When they did come back, this is how it went.
The House will be in order. The gentleman from 14.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for a privilege and a motion.
You have the floor.
Just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we were going to be at 10:30 tomorrow. We were going to do general orders, and then for a motion to adjourn until Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 10:30 a.m.
Mr. Speaker, I object.
Can't object to a motion.
Can I object?
Cannot object to a motion. The gentleman from 12.
Second the motion.
We have a motion to adjourn that's been offered and seconded. before placing the motion, are there any announcements that we need to do? Clerk may read.
House Appropriations Committee will meet jointly with Senate Finance Thursday, March 13th, 8 a.m., room C310, Horman, Chairman. House Education Committee will meet Thursday, March 13th, 9 a.m., East Wing Room 41, Pickett, Chairman. House Health and Welfare Committee will meet Thursday, March 13th, 9 a.m., East Wing Room 20, Vanderwater, Chairman. House Revenue and Taxation Committee will meet Thursday, March 13th, 9 a.m., East Wing Room 42, Cannon, Chairman. House State Affairs Committee will meet Thursday, March 13th, 9 a.m., East Wing Room 40, Crane 13, Chairman.
Thank you, good lady. We have a motion before us to adjourn tomorrow till 10:30 a.m. Thursday, March 13, 2025. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. House is adjourned.
And just like that, that brings us to this morning. So that's why they are in general orders. You heard Representative Tanner there say that when they do come back today, that they will immediately go into general orders. So that was fascinating, and I think it does go back to the again, using the rules, using Robert's Rules of Order or Mason's rules, whichever orders they use down there, rules they use, but in order to sort of either keep things moving, to throw a roadblock out there so that they bring attention to some sort of issue, so we've seen a bunch of these little bit of tactics used, throughout the years, of course, and here specifically with this specific bill that was happening, and wanting to make sure everybody was on the record. Representative Kent Marmon posted on his Facebook account. We don't have it. We don't need to find it, but he just kind of laid out a breakdown according to his observation why he did what he did. It was that he wanted folks to be in the room debating this important bill. So what is this bill that everybody was got all up in arms about? Well, it was a bill that was presented by Representative Stephanie Mickelson, House Bill 378. House Bill 378 would require legislators who are offered a trip or do travel to head out into to an out-of-state function that's paid for by an organization or a group, and so she stood up and presented this bill, and the argument started happening where it said that if you had your costs paid for by the organization that was hosting you, by your host, that you had to report that on a sunshine report. And if you paid for it yourself, you didn't have to report it. And so there were some people arguing whether or not that was fair in the bill, that said if it's all about knowing where the legislator is going, if they're being hosted by an organization to attend a conference or to learn some information or to participate in an event out of state, that the people should know about it, that you and I should know where our legislators are headed. And so therefore, if they're being paid, if their travel is being picked up, that the legislator needs to report it. Well, obviously, like I just said, some people disputed that, saying, well, if you pay for it yourself, you don't have to report it, and that doesn't necessarily seem fair. Another argument that was made by Representative Heather Scott was, there's no problem in reporting all this stuff, but it shouldn't just be the legislature. It should be everybody. We should know where the governor's going. We should know where agency heads are going. We should know where judges are going. We should know where all state employees are headed if their travel is being picked up by another organization. And so she thought, until we shouldn't be holding the legislature to a higher standard on this, we should include everybody. So there were a lot of different arguments, and of course there were many people that said, "Well, this is a great bill. We should know. We should all want to know." And I agree. We should know. We should. And full disclosure, as somebody who's heading up an organization in Idaho that does do lobbying for our rights with certain bills. You've seen, we do it here on the show. We lobby for bills and your rights. And I talk to legislators and try to find out we have them on the show. We do it. What we do here is exactly our activities, right? And then we also have events. And so we'll if we have an event out of state, we'll have an event out of state, and if we invite somebody there, then full disclosure, it's not a big secret. It's not a big secret. So I personally, I don't have a problem with it, so that's fine. But it certainly got a lot of people upset and a lot of people riled up, so much so that you had what happened last night. And again, I don't know if it was specifically over this bill or if it was simply the fact that many people were just leaving the room. But that being said, that's what's going on now. And pardon me. And if we head forward today and that bill gets brought up again, we will certainly try and cover it for you and keep things going. So that is exactly what happened. As far as we can tell, there wasn't a call of the House today, so everybody is still free to come and go as they please. It's interesting. When you do the call, you can't even go to the bathroom when they do a call to the House. They literally lock the doors and force everybody to stay in, and you could be in there for hours and hours and hours. You cannot leave.